If you like to talk about combat sports and you want to join the discussion, click the subscribe button below and the bell notification icon next to it and join Knucklehead Nation. Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, welcome to the FightersRep video podcast. I'm your host, the FightersRep, and today I've got a special guest to keep you guys entertained during this ridiculous pandemic. He is one of the best strikers on this planet. He's a number 6th ranked, last time I checked, featherweight for Glory Kickboxing. He's a guy, who doesn't really need any sort of introduction beyond that. Ladies and gentlemen, Asa Ten Pow right there on your screen. Asa, how you doing today, brother?
We're going, George. Good.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being with us out in beautiful Florida right now. Is that right?
Yes, West Palm Beach.
Representing. And, what's going on out there right now, Asa? What's going on with you during this quarantine, brother?
Like most with the situation, it's we're on stay-at-home orders, and the situation, like with everybody, we're still getting all those numbers in, and we're hearing the toll and the count and stuff like that, but just trying to remain positive through the whole thing and looking forward to it being over.
Well, it still looks to me, based on your Instagram, which is right here in the video, you can see it under his name, Asa Ten Pow, if you want to give him a follow. It seems to me, based on the footage on there, Asa, you're still putting this work in, man. There's no corona, no nothing is stopping you from putting this work in. Is that something you plan to keep on doing throughout this quarantine? Or, is nothing going to stop you? Or what's going on with Asa?
Yeah, it's just, that's my lifestyle. I got to train a lot. I am a professional, so it is my business. So I have to keep on it. But yeah, I got to train. I got to train safely as well. And I got to respect what's going on around me. And so, yeah, I'm going to stay on my grind all the time. So.
And Asa, you're out of Florida Kickboxing Academy. Is that your academy, or are you training under somebody?
No, that's mine. That's my gym.
Very nice. And where is that located, in case anybody wants to come out there and train with one of the best strikers in the world right now?
So we're located in West Palm Beach. We're right off of I-95, which is the main highway, and we're literally right off the highway. So one street light, sorry. Right behind the big Ed Morris Honda. And, you guys can come check us out. 7,000 square foot gym. It's fully dedicated to Muay Thai and kickboxing. So it's a pretty neat gym.
Very familiar with the area as a Miami boy. But Asa, you're not from South Florida. You told me you're from Oregon. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was born in Portland, Oregon. I kind of started my martial arts career in Gresham. I had my first taste of it. I think I did about a year in like a karate style. I was about 5 years old. But a year later, we moved to South Florida. A lot of my family is down here from British Guyana. So, yeah, I have a lot more family in Florida than I do in Portland, Oregon.
So, is that where your roots are, Asa, British Guyana?
My father's from British Guyana, and he is also a UK citizen. And so, yeah, most of my family on my father's side is from British Guyana, and my mother's side is mostly from Portland, Oregon, but ancestry from Germany.
Very interesting. What kind of got you into martial arts at such a young age, Asa?
I think, I was born in '89, so at the end of, those movies were coming out, they were hot, those fighting movies, so everybody was, doing it, the Karate Kid, stuff like that. And at the time, my mother wanted me in it. She thought, I needed to defend myself, and it just so happened, actually, kids were doing it. A lot of kids were doing it in my school, so that helped. But yeah, that kind of what got me into it, and Power Rangers and shows and all that stuff, Batman, anything that revolves fighting. It was just like it was just pushed on me, and I just enjoyed it. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not always when parents, push something on their kids that they stick with it. It seems like they pushed the right thing on you. You kind of got lucky there.
Well, yeah, it took. I mean, when I moved down to Florida, it was a little different. I would say it wasn't so. You were from Broward and Miami, so it's a very football town.
Yeah, yeah.
So martial arts, as I started getting older, was dying off, and I was still doing traditional martial arts, so kung fu and stuff like that. So I was kind of like the last man standing in the gym. Kids weren't really there. I was kind of the only kid there, and the reason being because my father would take me every single day that he could, which was about 4 or 5 days a week, and he would sit there and make sure I did class every single time. And I asked him maybe for some time off, and he let me do football for a while. But he's like, we still got to do this every day. So.
For sure. By the way, big shout out to Dan Bamstell watching us right now on Facebook along with a few other people. Thank you to Dan Stell for making this happen. You are, you've had a relationship with Dan Bamstell. I'm assuming you've competed in the IKF. Kind of take me through your credentials so far as a fighter.
Oh, wow. So as an amateur competitor in the States, I kind of began competing in what is called Sanshao.
For sure, for sure.
Form of kickboxing, and it allows you to do throws and sweeps and takedowns. And Dan is very familiar with it, as he reffed one of probably the guy who got me into combat sports, which is Kung Lee. And I idolized this guy growing up from a teenager. I saw him out here on the East Coast doing Sanshao one day, and him and Rudy Ott, and I was just blown away by it. And I just wanted to be like Kung Lee as well. And so I was doing the Sanshao, but it wasn't really big. And then it just so happened the IKF was in Orlando, and my dad would search for tournaments for me to do, mostly traditional martial art tournaments like karate stuff. And I would be doing a lot of continuous style fighting and stuff like that. And I guess you would call it full contact kickboxing. But I wanted a little bit more. I wanted to do what like K1 was doing, and I wanted to do that kind of fighting. And my dad knew that, so he put me into the IKF World Classic. And when I got in there, I was 17 at the time, and the division wasn't big, and it was me and another boy, and we were just gonna wait till Sunday to fight. And so they asked us to move up, and he didn't move up, but I moved up, and I moved up into the adults, which was okay at the time because I was competing with a lot of older kids as a young kid, so it was already fine. And
was that Bam's doing, sending you up there to fight adults? Who did that to you, Asa?
He enticed me, actually. He came up to me and he's like, that the belt is better at adults or something like that. The belt is better at adults. And I was like, all right, that's a bet. Let's do it, Dad. And we did it. And yeah, I fought two guys, and yeah, it was kind of an eye opener fighting two grown men with kids and stuff like that. So, but I ended up winning, and it was kind of the start of my competitive, like real amateur career, I guess you could say. That was kind of the start of it.
Yeah, yeah. And what other titles have you kind of picked up along the way, if any? I mean, because I heard you even won a Golden Gloves in boxing. I mean, so you're not just a kickboxer and doing sanda and stuff like that. I heard you've even won something in boxing. Is that correct?
Yes, yes. I have a Florida Golden Gloves championship. I won the Florida Golden Gloves by 2 knockout. Um, I fought at the National Ringside Tournament, which was the biggest one, and I didn't win in that one. But yeah, I won the Florida Golden Gloves. I've won the ISCA state title, the ISCA regional title. Shoot, what else? I've won TBA stuff. I've won a lot of the alphabet organizations out there. I tried to compete in at all of them and do well in it as much as I could. But I mean, the list it's kind of a lot, I guess, for an amateur. Because I will say, like, because I was like popular, I was getting a lot of title shots. So I was getting a lot of promotional titles, a lot of, with the tournaments, it was different. You have to fight through it, but I was getting a lot of like promotional titles and stuff like that, state titles.
Why were you popular, Asa?
Just being in it, man. Just
Yeah.
staying in it. Just bringing my name up from such a young age, and just kind of staying in the community with it, and yeah, building my name and my brand, I guess, and having exciting fights. That helps.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, right now you're fighting for Glory. You're 6-1 in Glory right now. Is that right?
Correct.
What's kind of the goal for you? Short term and long term.
Well, short term, I would like to get the Glory belt, defend it for a while, see what I can do as far as a kickboxer goes in this profession, as far as my branding and my business. So yeah, and then long term, I would like to be able to compete in MMA and win a title in MMA because I've done MMA for a while as well. And boxing, I'm not too sure, but I would like to do some more Thai boxing, stuff like that. But yeah, there's just to keep competing, learning as much as I can, fighting at the highest level that I can, especially right now. I'm 30, so if the next 10 years I'm fighting, I want it to be at the highest level. So
Still not. Still only 30 years old. Not even priming yet, Asa. What is your favorite discipline? I mean, if you had to pick one, right now you're doing the kickboxing with Glory. You've done. It sounds like you've done Muay Thai, MMA, boxing. What's your favorite discipline? If you could pick one and stick to it.
hmm, um, I mean, if I had to pick one, even though I don't do it, it would probably be MMA. Just I don't know. I can't even say that because yeah, I can't because they all bring a different aspect, and like I enjoy kickboxing differently than I enjoy Muay Thai. The same thing with MMA. I enjoy it differently. So I guess with I mean, a lot of people would say I should be kickboxing. Like I'm built for kickboxing. My style is a kickboxing style, but I blend a lot of other styles because I've done it. So it's kind of the art that lets me express myself the best.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Muay Thai. Like I'll say I'm late to the party on Muay Thai as being a kickboxer. I've done as well as I can up to being in Glory as a Muay Thai fighter, and I wanted to do more. And I enjoy Muay Thai a lot differently than kickboxing because the art side, the technique of sweeping and clinching and dumping and elbows, like those factors, and the scoring is a little bit is different than kickboxing. So I enjoy it differently, man. So it's really hard for me to say which one and which one.
There don't seem to be a lot of striking promotions in the United States. A lot of strong striking promotions in the United States. I mean, why do you think that is? Why do you think the striking sports haven't taken off? For example, the way they have in Europe with Glory and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. The I mean, the scene is different now. It's just different with MMA. in America is just, in my opinion, is a little bit different as far as what events, you really need like star power to be pushed behind these promotions and these names to be built in. And honestly, that does take time, but it also comes with money too, because money brings a better athlete. So Glory pays probably the best, and that's why they're the top as far as as kickboxing goes. So it's hard for guys when it's easier money in MMA. I mean, it's easier to promote MMA nowadays. So man,
Yeah. No, I mean that makes sense to me too. I love striking. I'm a big fan of striking. It's why we started Fighters Rep out here in California, and we also, as you know, have a link to Dan Bamstell. He referees our fights. He's with the IKF. So who knows? Maybe one day we'll have an Asa Ten Pow on one of our cards one day, or somebody from the Florida Kickboxing Academy to come out here and compete someday. That'd be very cool.
I will say maybe like America will like stand up with just the little gloves.
Yeah.
If I think like that could take. I think that could take.
Yeah. I even think kickboxing could work. I just feel like nobody's really ever taken the time to market it and promote it the way like Dana White has with the UFC, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of that's kind of the way I feel about it. So that's where that's why we created this channel. We're doing these interviews. We're putting up these fights. We're trying to get it to that level, but definitely it's going to be a lot of hard work. If you do, go into MMA, I mean, when do you think that'll happen?
uh, depending on where I'm at as far as kickboxing goes. It could happen when, I don't know, like it could happen in a few years. I gotta get back on my jujitsu and my wrestling, so I have to really take time out to make sure I get that down and at least spend some time on that. So if I am champion with Glory and I am able to defend it quite a bit, and I'm able to help not only myself but with the promotion itself to push kickboxing up and like help other promotions rise up because they're able to more guys want to do it or more people want to see it. So that would be a big part of me transitioning from kickboxing to MMA, is if I feel like if I haven't done what I had to do in kickboxing yet. So I
Yeah.
can't really put a time on that, but yeah.
Asa, obviously guys in the fight game, I mean, typically they're not paid at the same level as other athletes and even other professionals. Is this, is it passion that drives you to do this? I mean, what is it that drives someone to be a fighter and stick with it for life the way you have since you were 5 years old? I mean, you've been in the game 25 years now. What is it that drove you to stick to this thing? Such a dangerous and underpaid sport.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, that's a gamble I'm taking. I'm still risking. I guess it's the dare to be great.
Hmm.
And I accepted a little bit a long time ago that like I want to be a world champion, and that there's no way that I'm not going to be what I want to be, and whatever I say I'm going to do, and that's it. So the drive I know is there. I just find more avenues to help with the passion as well, especially with the gym. From owning a gym has opened up my mind about other things, about ownership, about other things inside of fighting, as far as like managing and promoting and owning a bunch of gyms. So that was motivations keep pushing me to be better as a competitor too, because my stock rises, I guess you could say,
Yeah, yeah.
building my brand. will go a long way with my umbrella. So that is a part of my drive, but that's never been it. Money's never been the issue, but being a world champion, I believe, brings to me a lot more than money will. And I'll be okay with that, and I know I'll be okay with that.
I mean, that's very admirable, and I think makes a lot of sense. And I do see you becoming a champion sooner rather than later, Asa. Some of these guys in the fight game, they come from a very sort of rough background, and some of the guys are more this, traditional route where, they were put into Taekwondo or whatever it was as a very young child. And I guess some are a mix. I mean, was there anything you kind of went through in your life that took you down the path of being a fighter, or was it, what you were saying earlier, that your parents just kind of put you into it and that was it?
Well, yeah, I mean, Bruce Lee, but just to going back to what I said, I mean, I'll say Kung Lee again, man. The impact of being an Asian kid over here was a little bit different than on the West Coast, and being in Broward County, Miami-Dade, growing up, there was not a lot of, you don't see a lot of it. You don't see a lot of, like, I don't have a lot of Asian, I guess you could say, heroes around me outside of Bruce Lee on movies. So someone like Kung Lee coming here really, really did kick that in. And, me being a competitor and just wanting to better myself, it just pushed it all towards to what I wanted.
I mean, I could definitely attest to that. A lot more of a Caribbean vibe down in South Florida, where I come from as well. And you're right. Not a lot of Asians, at least not like out here on the West Coast. Have you been out to California recently at all?
I had a fight out there, actually. My last Muay Thai fight, I was out in Oakland. Yeah, no, went to Chinatown. That was pretty cool. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So I mean, you recently had a very tough fight against Zachary Zagari, and that was, I believe, in December for Glory. When is your next bout? Do you know when your next bout is scheduled for?
We were looking at one coming up in May 30th. That was the date I was kind of given. I didn't have an opponent yet, but since the incident with the pandemic, it got postponed like everything else. So right now, just on the back burner until we hear everything.
The Zugari fight, I watched it. It was extremely entertaining. I will say that, as most of your fights are. You came away with the loss, but I mean, looking back on that fight, what did you learn from that fight? What did you gather from that fight?
A lot. I mean, a lot of how I go into my preparation. There's certain changes that I have to make. Just all around how I approach things, and you know, just there's certain changes. But as far as the fight goes, should have been a little bit faster, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I was waiting a little bit in there to try and attack with him, but he's up there for a reason. He was moving around quite well. I wasn't expecting that from him, and yeah, he made for a good fight, a good scrap. Learned a lot about myself again, as far as what I need to do with my preparation and stuff.
Speaking of preparation, I mean, what's a typical workout look like for Asa Ten Pow, if there is such thing?
I mean, if I'm in camp wise, usually like an 8-week camp. Typically, I'm running around 5 to 6 miles a day, doing heavy sprints. Now I've gotten a new strength coach, so that's a new preparation that I'm trying out, and I'm evolving with. Lots of kickboxing, lots of bag work, lots of pad work, and yeah, that's a daily regimen, and it's an ongoing thing.
And man, Asa, like, as a fan of fitness as well, you're totally ripped, man. I mean, what does Asa Ten Pow eat? I want to know what you're eating to look the way that you look, bro.
Uh, you guys don't want to know what I eat. You guys will be so pissed off.
Are you one of those fast metabolism guys, or what's going on here, Asa?
Absolutely, man. My metabolism is on fire all the time. So yeah, have always been disciplined with that. That's my main thing from martial arts is discipline. So um, the one thing I learned from all great fighters that use a lot of speed, reaction, that you have to keep your weight down. You have to keep your weight in check. You cannot blow up. You cannot be bouncing up and down because you lose timing, you lose reaction, and jumping from different weight to weight, it's not the same. And it's very important to me that I stay within my weight and I don't balloon up. So when I do indulge, I have to kick it up a little bit, but um, yeah, it's the diet is whatever I want.
That must be nice. And intermittent fasting. Are you eating, 5, 6 meals a day? I mean, what are you doing?
I'm on that 5 to 6, especially in camp. It's probably even more than that. It's like
Wow.
7 because I'm having to drink shakes in between. I'm having to eat bars. I still have to teach as well, so I'm having to supplement that time too. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's its own thing for sure. But yeah, eating just like a normal chicken and rice and 3 times a day won't do it. Like yeah, I'll be lean. I'll be real lean.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, is there anything you stay away from? Maybe pork, maybe dairy, or do you just whatever? It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, yeah, I guess you could say. I don't. Now that I'm a little bit older, stuff affects me a little bit differently. I do. You feel it differently from when you were younger than when you are now. I'm not saying I'm older, but I do feel a little bit different on what I put into my body. So yeah, definitely stay away from anything that inflames me. Dairy will do that to me. Too much wheat will do that to me. So I'll tone it down with that when it definitely comes to fight camp. Um, but yeah, the stuff that everybody likes, you got to discipline yourself on it, especially during that camp time.
Nice, man. And does Asa Ten Pow drink? Does Asa Ten Pow party? I mean, what's the nightlife look like for Asa Ten Pow, especially down in South Florida, man? You can get in a lot of trouble down there.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really do the nightlife too much. I work on the weekends. I work my guides on the weekends, and I'm
Gotcha.
up 7 in the morning on Saturday and Sunday, and I have clients that I gotta do. So it's that ended real quick when about 5 years ago when I had the gym. So I get to go out here and there when after Glory or something. I'll definitely set aside some time to do that, but. No, right now it consists of trying to get back to Thailand sometime to train and hang out.
Nice, man. Nice. And how long have you had the gym for now, Asa?
We are going on our 4th year.
Wow, man. Congrats. Congrats. And how's that going? I mean, I'm assuming it's growing with that name you have, but how's it
Yeah,
going?
we were killing it. We still are. We still are good right now.
Yeah.
Uh, when this pandemic is over, I'm almost sure we're going to be back on it. So we just got to ride it out right now. But yeah, the gym it started to explode this year, and I was really excited.
Well, I mean, I'm sure I'll get back to it after a month or so, whenever this thing blows over. Ace, I wanted to ask you, man, 30 years old. Most guys haven't reached their prime yet at the age of 30 in the fight game, at least from what I've seen. Do you feel like you've reached your prime yet, or do you still have, quite a ways until you reach that prime?
Physically and mentally, no, I don't feel like that. I don't even. I don't know. I'm a man of experiences, so if I experience it, I can tell you. So if I get in prime shape every time I have a fight, and I just try to get better every fight, learn from the last fight, win or lose, and just keep trying to be better. So if I was prime in that fight, I better be prime in this next one, and
Yeah.
primer or whatever.
Asa, what would 30-year-old Asa Ten Pow tell the 18-year-old Asa Ten Pow? And obviously, this is going to be, some real knowledge getting dropped for all the young, all the young fighters coming up in the game.
Um,
If you can give one tidbit of advice, what would it be?
um, Wow, that's a good one. I don't know, man. I would say, keep doing what you're doing, and you know, shoot, man, that's a tough question, man. That's one I haven't thought about actually. What would I tell myself younger? But maybe I don't know, man, because I don't want to. It's hard to say. Go back and tell yourself something else because it might change where you are now. And I love the experiences where I am now. And I don't know, maybe just listen more,
Yeah.
listen more, apply yourself a little bit more. Um, the wisdom that a lot of older people give to you is hard to see when you're younger. So I would say to myself, listen as much as you can, relate to it as much as you can, and just keep living as many experiences as you can.
I want to send you off on a positive note. So, we're going to put some positivity out there. Asa, what's been the highlight of your career so far? If you could pick one.
The highlight of my career would have to be signing with Glory. Being that from that kid, just seeing what it is to be on a big promotion, on something that has millions of people following. Um, that really was, even though I was older, that really was a highlight. Making it. Even though I haven't made it, but getting to Glory is, and being a kid from Florida with little opportunities and stuff. It was a big like weight off my chest, and then so I was really happy to get that. But
Is Glory as amazing as it looks, man? It just looks like such an amazing promotion, man.
yeah, absolutely. Glory's great to be with, and I love what they're doing, and I hope to help with their brand building because it goes both ways. And if they get big and more people tune in, and we get more fighters, we get more opportunity, we get better athletes, we get better competition, fighting overseas. It all works.
And that's real knowledge for the young fighters out there. It goes both ways, like the champ says. You guys help the promotion. The promotion in turn helps you as well, and everybody grows together. Asa, before I let you go, brother, anybody you want to shout out, sponsors, coaches, anything?
Thank you to everybody tuning in. Thank you to all my family, FKA family, tuning in. Thank you to Muay Thai Addict. Thank you to Apollon Nutrition. My guys, Shannon Sagan over at 1-800 Law Firm. Thank you to the guys over at Power Dot. Thank you to the beautiful Tavia for taking care of me and making sure, I'm ready for these fights. And, thank you to everybody out there supporting me.
Asa Ten Pow, ladies and gentlemen. Asa, thank you so much for your time, man. Again, it's much appreciated. If you guys want to follow Asa in his career through glory, hopefully to the top, to that title, you can do so by following him on the handle that's on the page on the screen in front of you, right under his name, at Asa Ten Pow. Again, Asa, thank you so much for your time, man. Much appreciated.
Thank you, and thank you guys.
All right, man. Have a great one. Thank you, Knuckleheads. That's all we have for you today. Everybody have a great night.